Hey, Matt Scratch here with the 5 tools I believe every car guy should have. Number one on my list is these clip pliers. They work awesome. They're for removing these little plastic clips you find under the hood of your car and in the interior and in the wheel liners, all that stuff have them. And if you don't know, they're very annoying because normally you just get under the head, it'll stretch it out and the clip will be useless if you do get it out in one piece at all. These pliers make it a lot easier because you can actually grab on the stalk of the clip instead of just under the head. So it actually pulls it out normally with little damage and you can reuse the clip. They also they give you nice leverage and everything. These I just bought from Princess Auto here in Canada, but I believe KD Tools makes a very similar version, so check that out. My next one would be this tool for removing tie rod ends and other similar joints with a taper, and so you would put that behind a spindle or whatever material that your tapered joint is going through, and then put that over the end of the stud, and then you would tighten this bolt and it would push down on the stud and push it through. The nice thing about it is you can actually hold it up there with one hand and just zip this with your impact, and it's strong enough to handle that, and it will get that off there really quick without any damage to anything or damaging the boot even. This is just made by Powerbuilt. I bought it at my local Canadian Tire, so I'm not sure where you could get one. Probably most of your tool stores would have it, possibly under a different brand name. I know there's a few variations and they all work in pretty much the same manner. And then this is a pretty standard tool that you'd find in your any tool or hardware store, but still worth mentioning because I just love these Irwin pliers. And they've got the multiple adjustments there, and then you can just ratchet it back down without, you only need to press the button for opening it up, so it's really nice for adjusting in tight areas and stuff. As well, the jaws are made of a very hard, high quality material that really holds up well, so they keep gripping good for a long time. Due to their they're designed much like for gripping on a hex. They actually work very good for that, and I've been able to remove rounded off nuts and bolts that have stripped out using a socket or traditional wrench, and been able to successfully remove them using these. So they work very well, and I've also abused them, like put my vice grips on the handles to clamp them tighter and different things like that. So they really take a beating. A great tool. So throughout this video you may have noticed that I've been working on this, which is something I invented. I call it the lap bench, and it just sits over your lap. It's padded on the bottom side, and it's got a metal edge on it for beating on stuff, and that's essentially what I created it for, is for forming sheet metal patches and stuff for vehicles. When I'm doing auto body work, I used to do a lot of that on my knees, and it was starting to bother my knees, so I came up with this, and I use it an awful lot. I always have it around the shop with me, and use it for painting parts on and beating stuff on and drilling holes and cutting on stuff, whatever. Sometimes I just set it on the floor, sometimes I have it on my lap, or you can also set it up on the floor this way for using this metal beating edge. And if you're interested in making one, it's all made out of 2x4s, 19 inches long this way, 8 inches long this way, just a piece of 3/16 plate or thicker or thinner, whatever you got, basically. Some scrap metal to go there, and a kneeling pad screwed or glued to the bottom works good. I have this gap in here for, like I say, dropping bolts in or drilling holes into or whatever for, painting and different things like that. I do have a piece of metal in here so that if I'm welding on it and an ember falls down there, it doesn't go through and burn my leg. Okay, so the final tool on my list that I would recommend every car guy own is a Mig Welder. And a Mig Welder might seem like a large outlay initially, but the time and the money and the headaches it can save you, it's just it's worth the money, trust me. I'm just going to give you a few examples here. Here are 3 tools that I made in a pinch with my Mig Welder to get a job done when I couldn't source the tools locally. This is a Honda tool for doing for holding your Honda crank pulley and loosening the center bolt. And I was able to find a Honda tool locally, but it was the wrong size, so I welded this plate around here to make it the right size. When I was replacing the wheel bearings on my mom's Toyota, I needed a 12-point 30mm socket. So I bought a ring wrench, I cut the ring part off, I welded it to this pipe, I welded an old washer to the top and an old socket, and bingo, I had my 30mm 12-point socket I needed and couldn't find anywhere. I needed a belt tool for my neon to to remove the tension off the belt, and I made that out of an old broken swivel. I welded it to this flat bar and then to this old crank handle for a hand winch. So, you know, a Mig Welder, definitely get a Mig Welder, even if it's just a cheap one. It'll get you out of a lot of jams. It'll save you a lot of money. So I do hope this video was helpful to you. Please subscribe for more similar content, and also consider joining our Facebook group. It's just a small group, but we would love to have you over there. Just search Matt's Garage on Facebook and look for our logo. And it's just a group that will be mainly to help people with their automotive questions, but also you're welcome to share your automotive stories, pictures of your projects, that kind of thing there. So check it out.